Hi everyone, back today to share with you a Slimline card that I made using my Hero Arts new dies that I got with my Hero Arts as an add-on. So I got the airplane die, which is going to be the star of the show here. Also, I'm going to be using an older Simon Says Stamp stitch banner die that is pretty much a go-to for me a lot of the time. And I'm going to use that for my banner. For the clouds, I'm using another new die from Hero Arts called the Cloudy Sky Scene. So that and the little birds also come from that particular set. Also using from Simon Says Stamp for my greeting here of their congratulations set for the wedding greetings. So let's get started, and I'm going to just walk you through how I made this cute card. Okay, so to start the card, we're going to need our base of the card. I just cut it from some heavy Nina white cardstock, and our card measures 8 inches by 9 inches, and then I folded it I scored and folded it at the card base. And then I also cut a blue panel from some Ocean Mist cardstock. This is Gina K Ocean Mist, and I cut that panel at 8.5 by 3.5. And then then there's one more panel that's going to go in to create our clouds, and that's 1/4 of an inch smaller, so it's like 3.25 by 8.25. And we're going to start by just adding a little bit of interest to this blue panel. And I thought for that what we'll do is put in like a trail of silver, like a jet exhaust trail. So that was my idea, with the little dots from the set. And I'm just going to use my powder bag, give it a little powder here, and some Versamark ink on our dots. I'm going to put that here, and then I'm going to take it to emboss. Okay, so I embossed it with some Brutus Monroe Sterling Sparkle, and that just gives a little shine. I don't know if you can see it. That's going to give a little bit of interest to this blue. So what I like to do when I'm attaching a panel like this is just go around my edges with a tape runner. And because of the length of this and the fact that I embossed it, has just a tiny bit of warping. So what I like to do then is just add a little bit of strong adhesive in the center, sort of at a diagonal. This way the edges are easier to line up, but then it's a really strong tack in the center, and so it will keep it from moving, and also take out just that little tiny bit of warping that we got from heat embossing this long panel. Okay, so now what I want to do is line this up. I had on 3 sides, line it up, and there we go. And push it down, so then we have that first piece in place. I got a little bit of nail polish here, so I'll just take my sand eraser, my mono sand eraser, and get rid of that. That's the bad part about wearing some darker nail polish. Okay, so now we're ready to cut out our clouds from this panel. So what I'm going to do is place my clouds so that my little airplane is just going to sort of go into the cloud bank here, in and out of the cloud bank. So this doesn't have to be precise in any way. Alright, I'm going to just take that to my die cutting machine. Okay, so now we have our dies cut, these pretty little clouds. I'm just going to get those out, and what we're going to do is just line them up. There's going to be another little border here around the edge. I always am fascinated. I always like those little borders that give extra detail. So attach these, I could do that with some tape runner or some Connect glue. I think I'm just going to use some Connect glue from Gina K to attach these little our clouds. You could also do it with some foam tape squares if you want extra dimension, but I think with my plane, my airplane, and the little banner, I think it's going to have enough dimension, and I want to make sure it's going to get through the mail well. So we're lining that up so we have that little margin around the edge again, and we'll do the same for the other cloud bank. Okay. This gives us just a little more wiggle room too here. Get it lined up straight. And I think that looks pretty good. So we'll put that aside to dry. And so I just took a scrap of paper. This is a scrap of just like a bright pink paper. But with this, the technique that I'm going to do, it's going to darken up the color. So I think that, you know, this pink will be a pretty color to use. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add some double-sided adhesive to the back of my paper. So what I'm using is some stickit. Well, no, we're going to just add the stickit. So what we're going to do here is just cut a piece of the stickit paper, just the same size as our little piece here. There we go. I have to find where it starts to come off. Okay, so I'm just going to add this to the back like so, and take off my other piece of backing like so, and give it a good rub down so that it's there in place well. And I'm going to take my airplane, and we're going to just attach that right here. Maybe put a little bit of purple tape, take it to the die machine. I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm going to just leave this in the paper. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to actually add just a tiny little bit of this purple tape just to hold it in place on my paper for just a little bit. Because what I'd like to do is put some clear embossing powder on this. So I'm going to just take my Versamark ink again, and I'm going to take it directly to the paper here and give it a good coating. And you can see it's already making it darker, okay? So the Versamark on there, give a nice good coating there, and then I'm going to take this to my embossing gun. Okay, so I took it to the heat gun with some clear embossing powder, and this is the result. We get this pretty glossy airplane. Now we can start building our plane. Off camera, as I die cut a white plane, and what I'm going to do is just use that white as a base for my card. So any of the parts of the card that I don't want to be this pink color, I'm going to cut them off right now. So we're going to cut off around here. Okay, and I don't want the wheels to be this color, so I'm going to cut that right off. And we're not going to want the propeller to be that color either, so I'm going to cut that propeller off. I think we'll cut it right here. Okay, so these are the parts of the card, I keep saying card, the airplane that we want to be this color. So now all we have to do is remove the backing from our stickit paper, which I hope I can do. Sometimes it's easier said than done. But here we're going to just peel off this backing, and we're going to have this sticky on the back side. I'm just using this pokey tool that I found at Michael's. I think it was in the wax carving spot, but it reminded me, I'm a retired dental hygienist, and it reminded me of dental tools. Although we never really used anything like this. Just a straight old pokey tool. We didn't use that. I think most people think of it as more of a curved, pointy thing. So here we go. We're trying to remember to use my tweezers instead of my fingers. And I'm just going to put this right onto our little plane. Line it up here. Our little plane. So there we go. We have our pink parts done there. Then what I did is I cut out the plane again out of some of this holographic paper, and I just partially cut it out, the parts of the plane that I want to be silver. So I used this holographics paper from Die Cuts with a View, but I know Simon also has, you know, a pretty holographic paper set too, if you can't find that one. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is just cut out the pieces of this that I want to use, which will be this little silver edge here I want to use. This paper is dazzling, so it really draws a lot of attention. It's going to give a lot of extra touches to our plane, and I want to take this part of the propeller. We're going to use that. And I'm going to use that little tiny piece there in the wheel, that little round piece. That's going to be a little harder to do, so we'll put that aside for right now. And again, we're going to just take off the sticky off of this little piece of framework here. There we go. I know part of that I'm going to have to cut out because it takes too long for me to do this. And it's boring to watch me try to get that little piece off. So that's going to go right in that spot. Okay, so our little airplane is ready and to go. So what happened offline, just so you know, these kind of things happen to me. I was trying to put this little piece right there with the adhesive on the back, and I lost it. Couldn't find it anywhere. And a few hours later, I actually found it, like pasted to the side of my palm. So those kind of things happen to me too. But I had to cut another one, and I was able to get it in. And that's what the final airplane ends up looking like, and it's going to go right about there. So before we do that, we need to get our banner ready. So I'm going to bring in my Misty. I've set up my stitched banner from Simon Says Stamp in my Misty. So there we go. I'm going to take some of my VersaFine Black Onyx ink, and I'm just going to ink up my stamp. And we're going to stamp that down right here. I'm going to give it actually another stamping and try to get more ink on the stamp than on my Misty. I'm a very sloppy crafter, and that kind of thing happens to me all the time. Our banner is ready to go. I'm going to just put this to the side to dry just a little bit. This is going to be I found just a little piece of silver twine in my stash. Actually, I bought this twine at my local Michael's in their dollar bin. So, you know, and it's going to be just, all I need is just a tiny little bit. So I'm going to actually attach that to my greeting here. So I'm going to use some score tape for that. Just going to just put a little strip of score tape right here on this side, pull the backing off, and then we can just attach this twine right there to that adhesive like so. Then to make it a little bit easier to attach, I'm just going to add some tape runner. To that. So we're just going to put this and place it kind of like where we want it to be. Our airplane's going to be like coming that way, so I think that's going to work just fine right there. So I'm going to put my banner in, and then just to attach this piece, I'm going to also just take another little piece of my score tape, or you could actually use, you know, a glue dot. But since I have my score tape out, I'm just going to put a little bit of score tape right there. Doesn't have to be precise. And then just pull the backing off of that one too. And we're going to get ready to put our airplane where it's going to go. I'm going to use some Connect glue for that on the back of this one. A little bit, because I tend to get a little bit aggressive with my glue, and I don't want it seeping out so that it causes a problem with my plane gloss on my plane. Okay, so we're just going to pull our card back into the view here, and what I want to do is just, we're going to attach the plane as though it's going across the sky there, like so. Okay, so off camera, what I did was I added these little birds from the Cloudy Sky Scene set. And when you look at this, you might say, oh my goodness, that looks like it's going to be difficult. Now, I hope this is going to work on camera as it did before. But what I did is I, put my stick-it tape to the back of a piece of black cardstock, took it to the die cutting machine and cut it out. And then when you lift this little die, all the birds stay in the die. So if you can keep the little birds in the die, that's perfect. So then you turn this over right onto my card, and I'm just going to push that in the little release dot. Each one of these little birds, one of them stayed stuck to the paper, but the rest came right out with my die. So then when you lift the die, voila, birds are in place. And then I could take this extra little bird right here, tiny little bird, and hopefully I can just get it out of there with my pokey tool here and leave the release paper still there on the back. And then I could attach this one wherever I want him. So we're going to put him right there. Just to give it one more little touch is I'm going to take one of these little hearts from Doodlebug Design. These are called Shape Sprinkles, the tiny hearts. And I've ordered these several times because I just love how they add just a little bit of something extra to a card, and they're just really tiny and easy to use. I'm going to add that right there on the tail flap. So there we go. Card is finished. And one of the great things about doing these videos, because I remember when a friend was asking me why I didn't do videos, and I go, oh, I'm such a messy crafter, everything is all over the place, things don't work out, I have to try it again, whatever. So when I do one of these videos, I always like to try to to do the card once in advance and then recreate it for you, the successful design. I recreate it for you on my YouTube. So this is the one that I first started with, and as you can see, it's pretty much the same. The airplane is just a little bit different color, the windshield a little bit different color, maybe the birds are in a different direction. So that one was the first one I created, and then I also decided I'd like a yellow airplane. For this one, I took like a Micron 5 pen, and I added the little dash lines where the natural little indentations of the seams of the plane are. A red heart and I made it a birthday card. So this card can easily be, you know, made into any occasion that you want. Happy anniversary, a wedding card like these two, a birthday card, a congratulations card, a retirement card. But so many ideas that you can do with this. So I hope you were inspired by the cards that I made today, and that you will return and get more inspiration from me in the future. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I will see you back again real soon. Thanks.